From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, that storm has certainly hit, and where we're really feeling the most impacts right now is west and northwest of the valley. We see the strongest winds there, the heaviest amount of rainfall. Take you out to Crescent City Harbor District right now, and looks like the winds aren't blowing that much. At least we can't see it from the camera shaking around at this point, but it does look like we are looking at the overcast skies, the rain, and it has been pretty windy out there. Now, we have seen gusts over 50 and even 60 miles per hour in some areas, and on top of that, Crescent City in the last 24 hours has seen 1.8 inches of rain. You head to the south out towards Eureka, about 3/4 of an inch of rainfall so far through the morning. Now, we're not seeing nearly as much as you head east of that towards the valley eastward, but those totals are going to be increasing here for the rest of the afternoon, along with those winds beginning to pick up in many of those areas as well. So we can, of course, see that we do have, of course, that heavy rainfall in some areas, but we head out towards the valley and we're just not seeing a ton of rain at this point. Looks like the pavement's getting a little wet out there in Oroville, so yes, we are starting to see some of that rain here this afternoon, and we'll see that through the rest of the day today. Taking a look at Trinity Center, there you can see, of course, the overcast skies there. The pavement is wet, so we certainly have been seeing some rain out towards Trinity Center as well. And we take you out to Lassen Park, the south entrance. Have not seen a lot of activity here east of the valley so far, but again, that will be changing here later on today. So here's what we can expect, and this is something I've been highlighting over the last few days, but we'll just kind of help to kind of pinpoint it for you. Number one, flooding is going to be a concern, especially as out towards the coast and mudslides and debris flows, but we can also looking at the potential for some of that runoff making its way into the valley, which would then mean creeks and streams, low-lying areas could see some flooding as well. Also, snow levels fairly high to start off, but they will start to drop as we go into your Thursday and Friday, and that will mean chain requirements over some of those higher mountain passes. Also, the gusty winds, we've already seen power outages. We'll take a look at where some of them have been so far this morning and how strong the winds have been, but they'll be picking up this afternoon for the valley and not to mention the eastern mountains. We're also going to be looking at thunderstorms entering the picture by tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. With those thunderstorms, some of them could be fairly strong, meaning heavy rainfall, gusty winds, hail, not to mention lightning. And with some of these thunderstorms, if you get a long enough period of time with the heavy downpours, then you're talking about the potential for some flash flooding as well. And that's why some of these flood advisories are in effect all the way through Friday. So here's some of the peak gusts that we've seen so far this morning, late last night and this morning. Look at that. Neyland Airport, almost 70 miles per hour. Take you out to the Montague Airport in Siskiyou County, 68 miles per hour. Callahan, 67 miles per hour. That's in southern Scott Valley. We take you out to Etna in Scott Valley, 58-mile-an-hour peak gusts there. That's also the case out at the Weed Airport in central Siskiyou County on I-5. Crescent City has seen a peak gust of 54 miles per hour and 43 miles per hour in Eureka. So you get the idea. The winds have been strongest in some of these select areas, and they'll continue to be strong through the rest of the day. Now, there have been some power outages this morning. The one indicates approximately 1,000 customers without power in Del Norte, and not to mention Humboldt County, and about 800, a little bit more than 800 out in Siskiyou County. Now that's this morning. This is something that'll be changing as they get out and get power back on. But there's a chance we may start to see more power outages as we progress through the day and the winds begin to pick up in the valley and then, of course, eastward as well. So we'll certainly be on the lookout for that as well. Also, I've been talking about this, and this is something that I think is really important and something that's really not illustrated enough, and that is atmospheric rivers. When most of us hear atmospheric river, we think just massive rainfall, we think flooding, we think it's going to be a massive impact. However, what a lot of people don't realize is that there are 5 different categories of atmospheric rivers, 1 through 5. Of course, 5 being the worst, 1 not being as bad. The atmospheric river that's moving through us is an atmospheric river 2. Okay, it's a balance of beneficial rain but also hazardous conditions. So a lot of times you get the rain, but unfortunately it kind of comes at a price. Sometimes the flooding, the power outages that we're seeing because of the gusty winds. So I want to show you one of the things that we're looking at here. This is kind of looking at the atmospheric rivers that we do have anticipated. So for example, The one that's coming through today is actually on the high end. It is borderline getting into an atmospheric river 3, putting it within that strong category, but it's more in the moderate category. Now, on Sunday, we've got another storm system that's going to be moving in. Not as big of an atmospheric river, but it will be an atmospheric river. It'll just be a weak atmospheric river as we go into Sunday. And you'll see that when we look at Futurecast, the next chance for rain as we go into the weekend. But this is the storm system, and it's very impressive. And this big, tightly packed area of low pressure is one of the reasons why we're also seeing those very strong winds associated with the storm system. But on top of that, we of course have the atmospheric river. It's all that moisture coming in from the subtropics, and that's that feed of moisture that we're getting over Northern California. That'll all be pushing eastward here throughout the day today. But on top of that, we do have some cold air kind of streaming around that area of low pressure. See the speckled clouds? That's the colder air. That colder air will eventually move in behind this atmospheric river, not only lowering our snow levels, but helping to destabilize the atmosphere. And what that essentially will do is give us a chance for thunderstorms I was talking about. And there it is. There's that chance for thunderstorms here in the areas of green here for tomorrow, and it's going to essentially be the same footprint here as we take you into your Friday as well. As I mentioned, some of these thunderstorms could be strong, indicating heavy rainfall, hail, gusty winds, and some and some lightning as well. So let's take a look at the timing of the storm system. 6 p.m., we're still seeing that atmospheric river over us, the heavy rainfall, moderate to heavy rainfall. So when you look at this, it doesn't mean it's going to be raining heavily the entire time. You're going to see it come in waves. So it'll be kind of some light rain, and then of course the rain kind of picks up, and then light rain, then the rain picks up. And when it all kind of comes together, we eventually do see a decent amount of rainfall, but the snow is fairly high. I'm expecting that later on today we could see it drop down to as low as 5,000 feet, but it's really not going to be until tomorrow that we'll see those lower snow levels. Now, as we go into later tonight, we're starting to see things dry out for a short while for the coast, but still the rain east of that. Snow levels once again around 5,000 feet or higher. By tomorrow, now we're seeing snow levels possibly drop down to about, say, 3,500 feet, 4,000 feet. There's the cold and unstable air moving in, giving us thunderstorms for the coast in the morning, eventually some of those making their way into the valley through the afternoon on Thursday. Snow levels once again are going to be scattered, but down to about 3,500 feet, give or take. That could create some problems on some of those mountain highways, especially mountain passes 4,000 feet and higher. You could be running into some chain requirements. Here's Friday morning at 6 a.m. and once again, snow levels actually may drop a little bit more on Friday as some colder air moves in, maybe down to 3,000 feet, maybe down to even 2,500 feet as we go through the day on Friday, but also the chance for more thunderstorms in the valley and not to mention on the coast as well. And then we have another storm system that's going to ride down the coast that will keep bringing in that chance for showers going into Saturday, and then a bigger system coming in on Sunday, which we'll take a look at that here in a second. I want to show you the estimated rainfall totals, and this is what we're looking at here. Anywhere from over an inch to over 2 inches of rain in the valley. More of it, I think, will be up to the north, and of course, most of it will be along the coast as well. That's through Friday night that we're looking at. Forecast snow totals, what we're seeing here is that they will eventually start to drop. Now, you can see here that eventually as we get into your Friday, it is picking up on some accumulating snow around Hayfork and Weaverville. I don't see that happening. We could at the very least, or at the best, let's put it that way, maybe see a mix out towards Weaverville and Hayfork, but I do not anticipate it to stick to the ground at all. But places like Chester, possibly. Bernie might be borderline. I don't think we're going to quite see that 4 to 8 inches. But again, I just want this to illustrate that we are going to see some heavy snow as you start heading off into the higher elevations. And the heaviest snow will probably be above 4,000 and 5,000 feet. All right, let's change gears, talk about the winds now, because the winds are certainly going to be a factor here for today. Widespread gusty winds through the noon hour. Through the afternoon, the winds start to subside, but still strong for areas west of the valley. Valley eastward, still seeing gusts 30, 40, even 50 miles per hour. Then we take you into Thursday afternoon, that is Thursday morning, excuse me. So tonight, as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning, we start to see the winds begin to die down, and that will also be the case as we take you through the day on Thursday. Still breezy, borderline windy at times, but the main wind event will be today and tonight, and then by tomorrow and Friday, again, breezy, borderline windy, just not as bad. All right, let's take a look at the long range here, and you can see as we do go into Saturday, we still have that chance for showers. Snow still fairly low, probably on average around 3,000 feet, give or take. Now, notice what's happening. We have an area of low pressure right here. This low pressure on Sunday is going to be off to our west, but it is going to tap into some subtropical moisture. This is that atmospheric river I was showing you earlier on that graph that's showing that this is going to be an even weaker atmospheric river, which means, yes, we'll see rain, just not as much rainfall as we're seeing out of this storm system. And snow level is still fairly low, around 3,000 feet. That area of low pressure will eventually start to slowly slide down to the south as we go through the early parts of next week. And as it does that, chances for rain will diminish, but we still have chances for showers in there for your Monday, and not to mention into your Tuesday of next week as well. And then maybe by Wednesday of next week, a bit of a break, but you get the idea. We have a lot more rain in the forecast here for today and even as we go beyond today. But there you can see those high wave heights for this evening, and then we take you into your Thursday, and it looks like you can see here a lot of red and orange on the map, but it does look like we are going to start to see those wave heights at least start to drop on Thursday, but still fairly high. Temperature-wise, you can see temperature is not changing much today. I'm expecting just kind of hovering around that 60-degree mark for that daytime high in the valley today. But even the mountains, I mean, you're looking at some fairly mild temperatures, mainly in the 50s for those daytime highs and those upper 50s to low 60s out along the coast. All right, now that we've kind of gotten through all that, let's take a look at your 7-day outlook. And this is also just a bit of a mess. I mean, we've got off and on chances for rain in there. Snow levels are going to eventually drop down to about 4,000 feet on Thursday, 3,000 feet on Friday, and then just kind of hovering around that 3,000 foot mark, give or take, through Sunday, and then starting to climb again for your Monday and Tuesday. And we take a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley, and we've got the chance with thunderstorms as we take you into your Thursday and Friday. Still more showers on Saturday, heavier rainfall on your Sunday, more showers on Monday, and then not to mention off and on showers through the day, possibly on Tuesday. That's the case for pretty much everyone in the valley. Looking at your 7-day outlook for the coast, also the chance for thunderstorms here. That's the case for the inland areas for both Thursday and Friday, and not to mention even some of the higher elevations such as Trinity County, for example. But I do expect those snow levels there as well to be around 3,000 feet. Could get a little bit lower on Sunday, maybe down to 2,500 feet. And then starting to climb a little bit here around 3,500 feet for next Monday and Tuesday.